Hello YouTube, Captain Mac here, and welcome to our first ever flight in X-Plane 12. Now many of you know that I've been looking forward to this flight simulator coming out, and I gotta say it's a big jump up from X-Plane 11, and X-Plane 11 was pretty solid. I think the general consensus is that there's still some work to be done, but this is early access, and I want to clarify that up front because there are some textures that could use a little work and a few other things that are not great yet, but they're coming along. Especially, I think the big thing for me is probably some textures, especially on the flight deck. However, the ZIBO 737, which for those of you who are unfamiliar with X-Plane, ZIBO 737 is a freeware 737 that is very, very well done. It's not quite PMDG level, but it's making its way there. It's really good. It's I would compare it I would call it a better version of the fly-by-wire A320 for Microsoft Flight Simulator, which is a great aircraft as well, but still has a ways to go before I think it catches up to this aircraft. So that's what we're going to be flying today. We're going to be flying from Thessalonica, Greece, which is one of the hubs for Mac Air. It happens to be the hub that I'm a member of. And we're going to fly to Heraklion, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, Heraklion, Greece. And I chose that because it's a decent distance of flight, should show us some decent scenery, and yeah, I think it'll just be fun. So that's what we're going to fly today, but nobody wants to sit out here and stare at the side of an airplane, so what do you say we hop into the flight deck? Let's take a look at what we got here in the ZIBO 737, and let's get this flight started. For the most part, we got the aircraft ready to go here. There is a little work left to do, especially in the FMC. And the reason I didn't finish up the FMC is because I want to show you guys something there. But we're going to get to that in just a minute because it's an awesome day in Flight Sim. Now, just real quick, I'm running in full screen mode, but I can grab stuff from my other screen. So when I click over here, you see that little flash. That's because I'm in full screen mode. Not really sure why it's doing that, but it is. Nonetheless, we want to take a look at our flight plan, and so let me just bring Sim Toolkit Pro over here, and this is why I'm saying it's an awesome day in the flight sim world. X-Plane released yesterday as of the recording of this video, and just recently Sim Toolkit Pro released version 1.0.1. Now you can see there's an update already. I haven't updated it yet, but this latest version is looking absolutely fantastic. Now there are a few things that you know, aren't working great, not with Sim Toolkit Pro, but it's not linking to X-Plane 12 yet. Not too worried about that. There's a few other things that we'll talk about along those lines, like better pushback and stuff doesn't work in X-Plane 12. At least it's not working in my version. So just some things like that to consider. But anyway, a lot of great features with this latest release. I will update probably after this flight, and I'm going to start taking a deep dive into this and put together a fresh tutorial, which is long overdue, but I did kind of want to wait until we got to this point here. So there you can see our route right there. One of the things I like, and this I think was on the previous one, I just never really used it, but I like that I can click over here. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it was on the previous version I was using, but I just never paid attention. So either way, you can see here we're leaving from Thessalonica and flying out to LGIR, and I'm not going to try and butcher that name again. Air distance about 359 nautical miles. Our estimated takeoff weight is 144,232 pounds, landing at 137,996. And our zero fuel weight actually ended up just being a little higher than that. I'll show you that here in a couple of minutes. We're going to take it at 350. Block fuel is 14,658 pounds. And then if we scroll down here, you'll see we were the Thessalonica 3A, but we're actually taking the opposite runway, so it's the 3B. You'll see that momentarily. And then the reason I didn't finish the flight plan is because I want to show you a trick in the FMC that I learned, believe it or not, from I think it was a TikTok video, or maybe it was Instagram or something like that. Many of you may know it. I didn't know it until recently, so we're going to try that out. And that's going to be the flight for the day. So let's hop back to the flight deck. Let's take a look at what we got going on in the ZIBO 737. I want to show you the amazing work these guys have done, and then we'll get this flight started. Alrighty, here we are back on the flight deck. Now I did want to show you guys something that I know many of you will be very happy for. ACARS for Mac Air works seamlessly with X-Plane 12. No problems at all. AIRLINE is working just fine. I did put the PAC-X bridge on here, but I forgot to fire up PAC-X. I may do it in between one of my video clips and see if it works. I don't know yet. But you can see this was just from when I was loading fuel. That's fine. You can do that while you're on the ground. But it connected no problem. I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to change anything. I didn't have to do anything at all. I just fired up AIRLINE, and as soon as I hit start flight, it connected to X-Plane 12, no problem. So for those of you flying over at Mac Air, if you're looking at getting X-Plane 12 and that's one of your concerns, fear not, it works like a champ. Okay, ZIBO 737. First of all, texture is pretty solid in here, probably better than well, definitely better than the default aircraft. I think either it's an early release thing, early access thing for X-Plane 12, or a setting that I need to tweak, because I still think the textures are not quite as great as they could be. But it is what it is. So real quick, I just want to hop up to the overhead here. We're going to fire up the APU. And the reason that I didn't finish everything, like I said, I want to show you a trick, but I also wanted to take a couple minutes and just show you a few things here. So I'm going to throw all my fuel pumps on. We'll get because we're going to be starting engines here pretty soon anyway. Now, as far as X-Plane 12 is concerned, plugins. PAC-X, I haven't tried it yet. XP UIPC works seamlessly, no problems. Avitab, absolutely no problems, pops up. I haven't messed around with it. I don't use it a lot, but I put it in there. X camera, which is the camera I use, works no problem. Now, let me just say with X camera, if you fly with TrackIR like I do, I highly recommend getting X camera. It is free. There's a pay version as well. It gives you more features. Use the free version because the TrackIR is really, really wonky when you're not using X camera with X-Plane 12. I'm going to tell you right now. And then terrain radar, I don't know yet. We're going to see how it goes. I don't know if it works or not. But there you go. So the plugins are working fine. The better pushback is not working right now. Now, when I first loaded into this flight with better pushback in there, it gave me a warning, something to the effect of you don't have a steering, the ability to steer the aircraft or something like that for better pushback. So it may just be this aircraft. I don't really know, but we're not going to be using it for this. I set a couple of hotkeys for a straight pushback and stop, and so we should be good to go. Pretty much everything functions on this overhead. Pretty much everything functions on this upper part of the overhead. Your tests work, your stall tests, right? Your overspeed tests, these work. All of this functionality works. I'm just showing you guys this really quick because this is just absolutely stellar. All right, you can do your fire test. The only thing I would say needs to be different about these fire tests here is that I need that switch to stay over so that I can go over here and I can click on the fire warning button over there to turn it off. But it is what it is. Last thing I'm going to show you, and then we're going to go to the FMC, finish getting this flight ready to go. The tablet for the ZIBO mod is fantastic. You can do better pushback from here, but again, it's not working for me right now. You can do your air stairs, your GPU, add and remove chocks, all of that. Fuel weight and balance is all done in here. You can access Avitab from here. It's just absolutely, this is a fantastic little tablet they put together. And then of course you got all your checklist procedures as well. Preliminary pre-flight, pre-flight CDU, captain. So this is for the pilot flying, pilot monitoring, before pushback or before start, pushback, engine start, all these checklists. All right, which are just absolutely fantastic. So just wanted to show you that real quick. We will not be digging real deep into this because I have not spent a lot of time in the ZIBO mod because I didn't spend a lot of time in X-Plane before. Last note for X-Plane 12, off the top of my head, I'm going to jump down here to the FMC. The flight factor 767, I can get them to load in here without any problem, but the functionality is not all there. For example, I don't have access to my FMCs in those, so they're going to need to do some sort of update to get those working. All right. With all of that said, I didn't quite finish doing my flight plan here yet because I wanted to show you guys this. And again, many of you may already know this. I didn't know it till recently. You can always tell when I'm switching screens. I don't like that little flash. I apologize for it, but it is what it is. So you can see here we've got some airways here, and I didn't show you our flight plan, but the next from KEA, we've got another airway, UL607, and that takes us to Givus and then T514. Now I didn't know this, but if you go UL607, you put that in here, and of course it's going to put your boxes here. It's going to say that you need to put in, this would be Givus, G-I-V-I-S. I didn't know you could do this. The next airway from G-I-V-I-S or Givus is T514. So if I go T514 and I put it right here, watch this. It puts Givus in there for me. I didn't know that. I saw, like, I think it was like a TikTok clip. Some guy was like, this is how real pilots do it when you've got a bunch of airways, because it saves time, right? Part of the reason I wanted to highlight that in this aircraft is because it really is amazing that the ZIBO mod has that in-depth of an FMC. Put that in there, and then from there that'll put us on to our arrival. So we'll execute that. I'm going to go ahead and finish up my performance initialization stuff here. I'll be back momentarily. We'll be ready to push and start. Alrighty folks, with everything ready to go here, let's just jump over to our tablet really quick. And the first thing I want to do is take a look at my ground services. We're going to remove the chocks. I have the parking brake set, so we're good there. We're going to disconnect the GPU because, let me just verify that we're over on the APU now. So let's turn that off, jump back over here. And I set up all these camera views using X Camera without any, it's not hard at all. And this is the free version. I'm not even using a paid version of it. So it's absolutely fantastic. Let's see, we got to make sure our doors are closed. Now we go to doors and we'll close that door. There we go. Fantastic. Okay. And then let's go home and go to our checklist really quick. Let's look at our before start checklist. Flight deck door closed and locked. CDU display is set how I want it. N1 bugs are good. Indicated airspeed bugs are good. MCP is set. Taxi and takeoff briefings, we have not completed those, so let's take a real quick look at them here. Let me just pull up the proper chart. There it is. Bamsis. We're going to be taking runway 16 today out of Thessaloniki. Is it Thessaloniki or Thessalonica? I'm not really sure. Either way, that's the runway we're taking, runway 16. We are right about here. So we're just going to take Alpha up to Alpha 1 and hold short there. For our departure, it's going to be the 3B departure, which is this one down here. So 10 nautical miles out from TSL. We start to turn back to TSL. We'll verify that that's set up properly in the FMC. And then we should be on course from there. So real quick, let's verify that. And you notice that little triangle wasn't there. That's because I can't seem to connect X-Plane 12. Get back over here. X-Plane 12 to either Navigraph charts or Sim Toolkit Pro. So just something to keep in mind. So there it is, the TSL. You can put this over to plan mode just like you would in any other 737. And then we'll crank this out just a little bit. So there you go. It's looks a little funky there. Let's jump back here real quick, make sure our TCAS is turned on. And let's see. Nope, that's not what I'm looking for. I just completely drew a blank. There we go, TCAS. T-A-R-A. We're not going to be squawking 7,000. There we go, 2336. One of the things I really do like about going over to X-Plane 12 here is that, let me find my, let's go route takeoff page. The interface is really pretty much the same, right? So there's not this big learning curve for the interface. It's actually pretty much the same. So I really like that. I really do. So
Thessaloniki, Macedonia. Information. Foxtrot 1235 Zulu. Arriving runway 10. Departing runways 1610. Weather. Wind light and variable. Visibility more than 10 miles. Sky conditions. View at 2,500. Temperature 24. Dew point 14. QNH 1018. Advise on initial contact. You have information. Foxtrot.
okay, that is a not a very nice ATIS there. It reads back kind of ugly, but anyway, that's fine. Ooh, what's this lock fail down here? Deny. Lock fail. It's not letting me lock it. Anyway, let's set the altimeter now. I am still running on let's put it on HPA there, so you can see that changes it down here. So it was on inches of mercury, which is what I normally am on, and I'm still using pounds. Nobody has said they care one way or another. But anyway, we can just switch it there, and then it's 1018, so it's not too hard to figure out. That was 1018 there, and then I believe it sets both sides. No, it does not. So we'll set this one to 1018 as well. There we go. Fantastic. Okay, we got everything else set. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to do a push and start. Yeah, we need to finish our checklist really quick, right? It's before start procedure, so we're good there, and those are complete. So I guess you got to go back. It would be nice if you could just advance the checklist, but listen, I'm really not complaining. Transponder is good to go. Parking brake by ground handling, and then after pushback, hydraulic pumps on. We've already actually got those on, and then that'll take us to our engine start. which is going to be, we'll get to that here momentarily. So let's see how my hotkeys work. He's probably leaving now because I pushed it twice. We tried a third time. So to stop the pushback and disconnect is a different set of hotkeys. So I should be able to push as many times as I want. It shouldn't matter. It looks like he just went over there to turn around. I will say the scenery, I mean, this is not bad. It's really not bad. I'm actually, it's so much better than it was in X-Plane 11. It's really good overall. Some airports not great, a lot of them really good in my opinion, so I don't have any complaints. I'm gonna let him get hooked up and then we'll come back on here and we'll actually push and start. Alright, so here we go with the push. Let me hop up over here. Let's go ahead and get oh look, it's telling me to turn the packs off. That's kind of funny actually. So turn the packs off. I don't know why. I don't know if there's like is that like a thing on here? It must be. I don't want that though. Let's jump back over here. Okay, that went away. Okay, so we're going to start with the right igniter. That'll work just fine, and we will start with engine number 2. Switch that over to ground, and I think I set a view here. There we go. So we're looking for 25.
Pushback completed.
Okay. That was a very short pushback, but I'll take it. So we're looking for 25 on here, and then we'll introduce the fuel. You have to actually drag it up. You can't just click it. And there's 25. We'll drag it up, introduce the fuel. And I'm going to go ahead and finish starting the other engine. It's the same exact process, and I'll be back here momentarily. Alright, that's 2 good engine starts. Let's go ahead and get the APU off now. For gens on. APU can come off. Maybe. There we go. APU off. We can go lights over here. We don't need logo lights. Strobe lights are good right now. Wing lights can come on.
We'll be taking off in just a few minutes. Flight attendants, please prepare the cabin for departure.
Ah, that's kind of cool. Taxi light can come on at this point here. We'll leave the ignition on right for now.
Have a good flight.
Auto throttle can get armed because I always forget it. Let's go ahead and set our flaps. It's going to be flaps 10 for takeoffs. There's 1, 2, 5, and 10. Fantastic. Let's just double check. Oh, yep, see? That went into reverse there. Ah, standby. Okay, we got that squared away, no problem. Fantastic. Let me jump to the proper view here. There we go. Track IR coming on. And a bit of a wonky jump there. Let me just get my view recentered here. There we go. So track IR, I'm trying to get it working the way I want it, but yeah, it may take some time. Go over to our checklist here. Go before taxi. So this is where you're going to see all the little things, right? So this is saying these are the generators here. So we've already taken care of those. Probe heat has not come on yet, so we can do that. That's going to be way up here. So I kind of like that. That's a pretty cool feature, actually. Just not something I need. Packs need to go on. Passengers will appreciate that. APU bleed can go off. Engine bleeds can stay on. What else we got here? Let's check this over here. Probe heat is good. As needed for anti-ice. We don't need those. Pack switches are on auto. Isolation valve is on auto. APU bleed is off. APU switch is off. And engine start switches to continuous. We'll do that right now. It did go to the next page automatically, so that was nice. See, it's, oh boy, that track IR is just really sensitive. It's worse without X camera, I'm going to tell you right now. Okay, engine start levers are idle. Ground equipment is clear. Flap lever is set for takeoff flaps 10. Flight controls check. We haven't done that yet, so we'll do that real quick. Oh, wrong one. Go back there. There we go. Full left, full right, and neutral all the way up, all the way down, and neutral, and then full left. It's clicking, it's blinking at the thing. Full right and neutral. Our trim is supposed to be 3.5, so we need to bring that down for sure. Okay, there we go, 3.5. Now the last thing here is that I hope that the nose wheel steering works right, because it's kind of funky in the ZIBO. Yes, I already did that, thank you. And then the lower DU is checked. We're good. Okay. So, alright, that's definitely handy, but can be a little obnoxious as well, but that's okay. Alright, parking brakes off. Let me get that mouse cursor out of the way, and then let's see, we'll see if the nose wheel steering works. Okay, get her moving here, and she works. Fantastic. Now, every time I look this way, I get a little bounce with my track IR for some reason. I don't really know why. So I think it has to do with how bright it is out. So I'll just have to offer my apologies and hope that nobody's too irritated by it. So we're going to taxi over here to Alpha, and then I will see you guys when we're holding short of the runway. Sound good? Alrighty folks, here we are holding short of the runway. We don't have any traffic on approach. Now I will tell you that AI traffic can be just as obnoxious in this simulator as it is in any other, so that's always a good time. It's got our landing lights on there, engine start switches are still on continuous. So take a look at our checklist here. Takeoff checklist. Departure runway is correct. It's runway 16. Strobe light needs to come on. That's one I forget almost all the time. Let's see if it yeah, it should be strobe and steady, I think is the right one there. So there we go. And other lights as needed. So we got the runway lights on, runway turn-off lights on, the landing lights on. All these other lights are good over here, so I don't have any concerns about those. We're looking good on that. Transponders on TARA. Landing lights are on. Thrust levers, and that's just for takeoff itself. Put that back. Wait a minute. What else did that have on there? Toga switch. Oh yeah, that's just all actual takeoff stuff. So I did map a toga switch. I'm not sure how well it's going to work. We're going to find out. But there are a lot of things I really like about the interface being really close to the same as it was in X-Plane 11. I will say if you go back to X-Plane probably 9, I don't think I ever messed with 10, but X-Plane 9, the interface was terrible. It was bad. So X-Plane 11 definitely was far more intuitive, and I like that. And I like that things just work. You know, it automatically picked up on my Honeycomb Alpha yoke and my Honeycomb Bravo throttle quadrant. It picked those up automatically, and all the buttons are there and they're ready to map, and it's super easy, like no problems at all. And I really like that about this sim. I don't like fighting with controls and stuff. It just, you know, you shouldn't have to. And you can make profiles and stuff. I don't do it. I just pretty much set everything default. And then if I need to make a change, I make a change. I don't make a big fuss about it. So either way, here we are. Let's get her lined up here. There we go. That's looking good. Let's go ahead and bring in about 40% throttle, it says, for this one. So we'll do that. And then we're going to hit the toga button and see how it goes. Let her just stabilize a little. And toga. Oh, look at that. It works. Listen to those engines. Airspeed is alive. 80 knots. Check. Coming up on V1 and rotate. Ooh, that's loud. I might have turned that down a little. And
on V1, rotate.
Up and away. Come on, baby. Oh, wow. It did not want to rotate.
Positive rate.
Gear coming up. There we go. Follow that flight director. I don't think it really liked that trim setting, if I'm being honest with you. It did not come off the ground very easy. But she got up, so we're good to go. I don't. That's a crazy little turn it wants us to do there. I'm not really sure why it's set up that way.
1,000.
Check 1,000. I like that you got somebody talking to you. Now I also installed, or I put in there XRAS, which should tell you what runway you're on, what runway you're approaching, and so on. And it apparently didn't work because I didn't hear anything. So I'm assuming all of those will get updates soon. Those are free programs too, so that's one thing I really love is there's a lot of great free stuff. Not that there isn't for Microsoft Flight Simulator, but yeah, I think X-Plane is highly underrated. That's what I think, to be honest with you. So we're just following our flight director right now. Bring those flaps all the way up. Just continue messing with the trim so that you're not constantly fighting with it. The flight dynamics are way better in X-Plane than they are in Microsoft Flight Simulator. I'm going to tell you that right now. If you're not doing it right, it's not going to work right. So let's get the autopilot on here. Here we go. Let's see what she does. It's going to do that crazy turn coming up here. That should be interesting. But let's just let the airplane do its thing for a minute. Let me turn the track IR off. There we go. And let's jump to a different view. So any view in X camera that you have track IR selected, you can't move around easily. So I don't have track IR turned on any of these other views, and that allows me to move around my mouse and stuff relatively easily. So let's put this to the off position. I've never done that with this aircraft, so I just wanted to make sure it was going to work right. Real quick before we wrap everything up, I want to see in the settings menu, where's sounds at? Audio and volumes. Yeah, see, so you've got quite a bit of volumes here. I could bring the engine volume down, for example. There's louder. Yeah, see, so we can bring that down just a little bit. Yeah, see, same thing with the wind. Just because it's a little loud, I think, for the video, right? So, and then you've got a whole bunch of volumes on here, so just something to keep in mind. Take a look at our after takeoff checklist really quick. Climb and cruise. Landing lights will go off once we're above 10,000 feet, which we're not there yet, but we are above our transition altitude. So let's go ahead and put this to standard, and this one as well. I do like there might be an option in there to sync those up. I like to have them synced up because I don't actually have another pilot in the aircraft with me. So that always makes it a little difficult when you're trying to do both sides of the aircraft at the same time. I never put this back on the engine page. There we go. Alright, so that's on engine page. Let's just look at our legs page down here. These don't pop out. They will in some aircraft, but not in this one here. So TSL, 10 nautical miles, and then it's going to swing back to TSL. We could just go direct to LECPO if we wanted. We could just grab that and put it right here, and we could just say let's go direct if it'll let us. I don't know if it's going to like that or not. Let's just erase that and let's let it do its thing. I think it's a little weird, but we'll let it do. I think it just didn't like the way that turn was set up, to be honest with you. There's 10,000 feet there. Oh yeah, see, because I have the checklist on, it's telling me to make sure I turn those off.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we climb to our cruising altitude, we'd like to extend a special
turn these off.
thank you to each of you.
Off.
And welcome back to our SkyMall members and Million
Back over here, look at our checklist real quick. So landing lights are off, passenger signs are as needed, so we can jump up here if we want. We can say, hey, let's turn this. It's on auto. I'm going to leave it there. I'm good with that. So we'll leave that on auto there. Altimeter is set. Altimeter cross check. We verified that. We don't need to modify the route for the arrival quite yet. RMP for arrival, we don't need to do that quite yet. That's required navigation performance. So there we go. That takes care of that. That takes care of our after takeoff checklist, and that means, you guessed it, ladies and gentlemen, it is time once again for some of that obligatory elevator music. Alrighty folks, here we are at our cruise altitude. We're a little ways from top of descent yet, 137 nautical miles there. The aircraft flies absolutely beautifully. I just want to take a couple minutes here. We're going to do our arrival and our approach briefings here shortly, but I just wanted to show you guys a couple of things on here. I was really blown away. I haven't messed with this aircraft in a long time, and part of that had to do with there was an updater that somebody else had made to work with this aircraft, and the person making that updater had stopped updating it. So, but anyway, this thing's come a long way. I told a friend of mine about it, and he asked, you know, how does it compare to PMDG? Quite well, actually. The number of options available in here are astounding. So just your options in here for display, exterior systems, the displays themselves, the FMS. You can adjust all your callouts, your placards, everything. All that can be adjusted in here. I'm not going to sit here and show you all this. This is all your hardware stuff. I just want you guys to see how much is available. You got Realism settings in here for like your alignment time, your refuel time, pause at top of descent. You can turn that on. All of this stuff. Just the list goes on for a while. So it's really impressive the amount. They've got visual effects, windshield effects, all kinds of stuff. Just really impressive what these guys have done with this aircraft. I really like it. I'm very impressed with it. So just wanted to highlight that really quick. Let's take a look here real fast at our arrival and our approach briefings. I do not like that it does that little flash though. That's kind of frustrating. Anyway, still using Sim Toolkit Pro and our Navigraph charts as always. We're going to be taking the Zavis 1A arrival today, starting out here at Zavis, and then we're going to go from here to Gonzo. There's another waypoint in there that it put in automatically, and then from Gonzo that's going to put us on course. ATIS is 127.550, which is kind of funny because the ATIS here was 127.555, but to get it to work I had to do 550. So just a little fun fact there for you. But either way, that's going to be our arrival. We need to be 3,000 feet at Gonzo, and you'll see that here on the approach itself. It's going to be the RNAV GNSS runway 27 approach. Again, ATIS 27.550. Approach is on 23.975, tower on 20.850, and ground on 21.7. Final approach course is 271 degrees with a descent point or a final approach point. What do you call that? I think it's called the final approach fix, is your descent point, right? Either way, that's going to be at 2,000 feet. LNAV decision altitude is 830 feet. Same thing down here. So if we're using the LNAV guidance, then it's 830 feet MSA or 748 feet AGL. Airport elevation is 115 feet. Runway is 82 feet. So that should be our touchdown zone. So it should be quite a slope up on the runway. For the missed approach, now I've always been really bad about making sure I'm keeping track of this. For the missed approach, we need to turn right. Max 185 knots at runway 27. So this missed approach is before the runway here. You need to make a right turn direct to IR 700, which is this guy right over here. Direct to IR 700, and then at IR 700 turn right and proceed back to Gonzo, which is where we're coming in at. Climb to 3,000 feet and then join holding at Gonzo or as directed. So you can see when we hit Gonzo here, we'll hang a left down to IR 402, then a right over here to IR 401, another right turn to IR 400, and then in from there. Now one thing that's crazy here, you don't see this very often, is a 3.4 degree glide slope. Now if you're thinking, well, that's not that fast or not that steep, just look at the difference in ground speed in knots here. So if you're doing 140 knots on a 3 degree glide slope, your average descent rate is closer to this, 720 something. It's 842 feet per minute. That's your rate of descent for this glide slope. So that's pretty crazy. I kind of like that. I think that's fantastic. So let's get this back over here, get it out of our way. Little flash there as it jumps back on. I've already set this up in the FMC here. Everything is good to go. So if you look at our legs page, out to Givis there, we know that Zavis, and then here we are. So from Zavis to IR 28, this one it put in on its own. I didn't do that. And then Gonzo 402, 401. If I can get the next page there, 400, and then runway 27. And then if you have the missed approach, it's out to IR 700, Gonzo, and then hold at Gonzo. And what I love is that when you think about it, this is a freeware aircraft and everything is there like it's supposed to be. Now the first time I ever flew this, it was missing some of that functionality, but I do remember them saying, hey, we're working on this, it's going to be better. And so I just thought that was pretty great. Other little things too, for example, we've got so if you look on here, we've got a crosswind. It's a bit of a tailwind, but it's a crosswind, and we're burning fuel at different rates because, well, these guys are about the same now, but we've burnt different amount of fuel on both tanks. I'm not even sure why that is. It's only a little bit different, but it's nice to see that the fuel doesn't just automatically stay perfectly balanced. There is a way to balance it out. If I remember correctly, I've never done it in this aircraft, but what you got to do is you have to turn the crossfeed on and then turn off the fuel pumps on the side that you want to put more fuel in. Something like that. That's how you do it in the 767. You turn the crossfeeds on. So if you want to go from right tank to left tank, you turn the crossfeeds on, turn off the fuel pumps on the left side, and it'll even out the tanks. It probably work the same here, but I'm not going to mess with it right now since it's the first time I mess with this plane too seriously, right? So seriously, yeah, seriously. This is the first time I spent a lot of time with this plane. I don't want to do that right now. That's what I'm trying to say. So looking at our approach reference here, we're probably going to do, it's not a super short runway. It is 8,900 feet. So it's not too bad. I actually wanted to land on runway 30, but it didn't give us an option for that coming off of the, and I think that's because of the mountains there. Because you got mountains all along the side, runway 30 is just not feasible for us. So we've got 8,900 feet, which plenty of runway to work with. So I think we can do flaps 30, 148 knots. I think that'll work out just fine. So we'll grab that for now. That's probably going to drop down to 147 by the time we get there. It always does. Not a big deal. Back to our progress page, you can see we got 82 nautical miles to top of descent. So here shortly off screen, I will go ahead and I will lower this down to 3,000 feet. And I'm just double checking. There are no other altitude restrictions on our arrival. It's just that 3,000 feet can be out over the water anyway. So I'm not too worried about that either. I do not like that flashing. I apologize for that. But either way, that's going to take care of everything for that. There is a descent checklist. If you guys want to see it real quick, I'll show it to you here. Jump over here, descent checklist. So landing altitude, we verified that. System annunciator, recall. We didn't do a recall yet, did we? Hit that guy there. That's the recall. I love the arrow flashing on it. That's pretty, I didn't look to see if there's an option to get rid of that, but that's actually pretty great in case you're trying to find something. Approach VREF has been entered. Minimums. I will enter the minimums here momentarily. Navigation radio is, we don't need it, so we're good there. And then auto brake. We're going to use, now there is a performance tool in here. Let me find it real quick while I got you guys on here. Where is it at? Yeah, here we go. Landing performance. So we're going to be landing LGIR runway 27. AC will be on auto. Flaps are going to be flaps 30. That's good. Condition is dry. So the wind is, the last time I checked the wind, it shows the wind as 320 at 14. So 320 let's see if it lets me do it this way. I don't know if it will or not. Yeah, 320/14. Outside air temperature is 24. See, I love that you got this tool right in here. It's fantastic. And then the QNH is 1016. Flaps 30. Brakes all. Max manual. Oh, okay, auto brake 1. Let's see what it gives us for auto brake 2. Speed brake will be auto. I don't know what NNC is, to be honest with you. And then landing weight, that's a good question, right? That should be over here. If you guys don't want to watch this portion, you can just jump ahead. We are looking at, should be in here, gross weight 142.8, so it's probably going to be like 140. I'm gonna take a guess and say it's going to be 140. So let's try that real quick. 140. So how do you want me to do it? 140 point. Let's see if it takes it that way. Yeah, 140,000 pounds. VREF add 5. What does it give me? Auto brake 1. Okay, so here's my landing distance. So auto brake 2 is 2,393 meters, and we've got, in meters, we've got 2,714. So We probably should use auto brake 3. Will probably work a little bit better. Alright, so there you have it. I'm going to break away, and I'll see you guys back here when we're on the approach. Alrighty folks, we're going to be at ZIBO here momentarily. I came on just a little early because I wanted to show you something that just blew me away. Actually, a couple things. First of all, weather radar works. So there's really no moisture in those clouds, but there was a line of moisture back here. You can see we're past it already, right? But as we crossed that, we hit turbulence too. That with the wind shifted, it was just crazy. But I thought that was pretty cool. I figured out why I couldn't lock the door, because it was open. So you got to close the door before you can lock it. That's pretty cool. But this one will blow you away. Watch this right here. You see this? See this guy right here? See this flight deck entry video, right? Yeah. Display. Come on now. And you can even change it. Look, if I change it to the right, it's a different view. Like, that's just crazy. The fact that they have, I mean, there's nobody there, that's fine. I remember somebody did one at one time. I think it was PMDG. They did one of those, and there was like a creepy person standing out there or something. But I just thought that was really cool. They actually have, like, you can click on that. Like I said, almost everything is functional in this aircraft. It's really, really good. I'm very, very impressed by it. So, yeah, good stuff. We're going to stick with our flaps 30 landing despite our shorter runway. I did go to auto brakes 3 based on our performance tool there. So we're sticking with that. You can see we're making the turn to this is that one that it just threw in there, IR28 Alpha, and then from there it goes to Gonzo, and then on in from there. So what I'm going to do, we're dropping below 10,000 feet here. Let's get the landing lights on like we're supposed to. That looks good. We can put flight engine start switches to continuous, and then everything else should be good to go. We could jump over here and take a look at our checklist really quick. Our approach checklist. Ground proximity flap, that's if your flaps 15 landing is needed. Landing lights are good. Passenger signs stayed on auto. Altimeter doesn't get set until 6,000 feet, so we will set it though at the right time. I'll double check what it is, and then update required navigation performance. We don't need to do that, so we're good there. And then we'll be landing, I don't know what IAN is. What is that? I know what ILS is and VNAV are, but I'm not sure what that one is, so we may not mess with it. But other than that, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and keep cruising on in. I'll either fast forward or just skip ahead, and then I'll see you guys back here momentarily. Alrighty folks, you can see we're just about to make the turn at Gonzo here. We've got first setting of flaps out. We'll get another setting of flaps out here momentarily. I love that there's PA announcements and everything. Captain made an announcement. First officer talks to you. It's just good stuff going on. I really like it. So we're turning here at Gonzo over to IR 402. We got to maintain 3,000 till IR 402. And then it's down to 2,300 and then 2,000 once we cross IR 401. And then it's going to be a pretty steep approach from there. So we'll see how things work out here. I'm not promising this is going to be one of the best Captain Mac landings ever. We're going to give it a solid go for sure. Let's go ahead and arm the spoilers here. That's fantastic. Speed brakes are set. We can take a look here. Let's just look. We got a second. Let's look at these landing lists. I'm going to go landing this one here. So yeah, so approach roll mode, localizer, capture. Yeah, see, that requires a localizer. We're not doing that. There's yeah, so I guess you could just say landing VNAV, MCP altitude, decision height, all that's. Oh, I didn't set the decision height, did I? What was the decision height again? 748 feet. I forgot to do it. 748 feet. And let's see what else. So that's set now. Landing gear lever. Yeah, so this is all just typical landing stuff. Okay, I'm not gonna sit there and mess with that, and I don't want a bunch of arrows flashing at me when I'm flying here. Let's go ahead and bring in the next setting of flaps. That'll put our speed to 180. And again, we're going to be 147, flaps 30. So I told you it'd come down by 1. It always does. And it looks like we're actually just a little bit heavier than what we thought. I thought it'd be 140,000 even, but it looks like it's going to be a little higher than that. So because of that, I'm going to put max auto brakes just to give us that extra stopping power. I think that's probably a good idea there. Let's go ahead and get the track IR on. A little jump here. Not too bad. Let me just get myself centered up. There we go. That looks good. So the track IR is definitely way better. Wait, that is not the weather that it said. The track IR is definitely way better when you're using X camera. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Let's get that next setting of flaps coming out there. Speed to 170. Let's go speed intervention here, and we'll let it come to 170. I'm okay with that for the moment. I'm hoping this visibility clears up a little bit. Let's go ahead and bring this down to 2300. Are we way over the top already? Yeah, I missed it. My bad. So take it to 2000. We're going to need that. So that was on me because I didn't adjust it soon enough. So you can see we're about 200 feet higher than we should be, but I think we'll be all right. So 2300 is our minimum at IR 401. It is set as a hard altitude, but I think we'll be fine either way. So we're sitting at flaps 5 right now. Let's go ahead and go to flaps 10 here, and then as we start to make this turn, we will go ahead and drop the landing gear and slow her down a little bit more. So IR 400 is like right there. So let's go ahead and get that landing gear down. Oh, that was loud initially, wasn't it? Let's bring this down to 160. 160 is good. 160. Next setting of flaps coming in. And we're looking pretty good there. I'm gonna leave the auto throttles on, at least for a little bit here. That's flaps 15 right there. Let's bring this down. Next setting of flaps and bring this down to 150. Actually, 152. So 147 plus 5. I like that. And one more setting of flaps coming in, and that's going to look good. I'm going to like that pretty well. Now the visibility is not quite what I was hoping it was going to be, and we are not getting down quick enough. That's for certain. So we got just over a mile to IR 400. We're supposed to be at 2,000 feet in this setting. We're at 2,900 feet. So let's go ahead and take the autopilot off. And let's just go ahead and increase our rate of descent just a little bit here. And just follow that flight director. There we go. Let the auto throttle do its thing. No, I want you to descend, not climb. There we go. And a little turn to the right here. Descending, baby. It just does not want to descend right now, does it? I need it to descend quite a bit faster. We should be descending at about 900 something feet per minute, or close to 900 feet per minute. There we go. That's a little bit, but we're a little high, so I need it to descend a little fast for now. There we go. That's a little better. Alright, we're just going to follow the flight director for the moment. I don't have a visual on the runway. And we're definitely too high, so I need her to keep coming down. So I'm just going to let it do that for the moment. Whoa! There's a little bit of wind, huh? That'll scare some passengers, but I found the runway. Alright, let's go ahead and turn the auto throttles off as well. And reduce throttles to 0. And I think we'll be able to get her down there just fine. Click that off. It is a steep descent, and because we were too high, we're descending way steeper than we normally would. And I'm sure that scared the bajonkers out of our passengers back there, but I don't want to go around if I don't have to. There we go. She's coming in nice, so you see that we're coming in real nice. So we're going to be able to start leveling up just a little bit here. Quite yet. There we go. Start bringing it just a little nose up trim.
Minimums.
A little faster than I want her to be, but we're still looking good overall. Oh yeah, we're looking good. Start bringing in a little thrust here. Still a little high.
400.
There we go. Now we're coming right onto that glide path. That's perfect.
300.
Nice.
200.
Just a little low. Looking good though.
150, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Whoa! Oh my gosh, that had to be. That's one of the worst landings ever. That thing came down hard. Oh, I blew a tire or something there. Wow. She did not want to level off, did she? Definitely not one of my better landings. Alright, well, I apologize to the passengers in the back. I hope everybody's doing alright back there. Probably scared you just a little bit, huh? Okay, let's go ahead and get those off there. Flight directors can come off as well. That cycles off that FMC thing. Okay. Wow. Is it still in reverse? Turn the reversers off. There we go. Did somebody scream? I think I just heard somebody scream. Where's our land? I don't remember where it's at on here. I know it's on here. I'll find it. I'm gonna taxi in. I'll find the landing thing. That was ugly. It didn't want to come up. The nose did not want to come up, and I think that's the flight dynamics are more realistic in this, and I think that's probably more realistic of what it's like in a 737. You got to have it on. You know, I was coming in. I had to descend a lot faster than planned. I didn't have it set up right. So it's on me. But either way, I'll check and see if I can find that landing thing. I'm gonna taxi it in, and then our first landing in X-plane was not pretty, but it is what it is. I'll see you guys back here shortly. Alright, so believe it or not, that landing was not quite as bad as it looked. It was just a little over 500 feet per minute. An average, relatively smooth landing. Correct me if I'm wrong, please, but if I'm not mistaken, an average landing is around 200 to 250. So it was definitely hard, and it would have been very uncomfortable for the folks in back. They would have not been happy about it, but Ryanair kind of flies like Southwest. You know, taxi at V1 and slam it on the ground as quick as you can, right? It's rolling forward a little bit. I should probably put the parking brake on. There we go. So anyway, not my best landing by any means, no doubt about that, but not quite as bad as I was worried about. So that's good. Alright, so let's do a couple things here real quick. Let's turn over to the APU here. We can use that power. Packs are still on. Everything looks good there. We can put these guys off. I could have done that already, but I didn't. Strobe light could have come off as well. And the rest of those we'll leave on as they are. And then let's go ahead and shut the engines off. Give me your U. There we go. One. And all the way down. Oh my gosh. That's why I made this view here. Cut off. Cut off. There we go. That's why I made that view there. And then we can go over here and this is the approach rating thing I was talking about. So I had a high rated descent below 500, 1000, 2000. Approach speed was below 400 feet. So my approach speed was not where it should have been, I guess, below 400 feet, which it wasn't. I was still too high. So anyway, let's see. Ground services. Let's get the GPU, set the chocks. We don't need the ASU. Air stairs can be extended. Open the doors. Aft cargo and forward cargo. Those are both good. Those do not need to be opened. And what else we got here? Cabin lighting. We'll leave that alone. We're not going to mess with it. It's fine right now. And what else? We can connect the ASU. Sure, why not? And then we can jump up here. Ground power is now connected. Get that guy on there, which means we can turn the APU off. Fantastic. The gens can go off. They should be off already anyway. What else? These two guys can come off here. Probe heats can come off up here. And the rest of that looks good. Let me swing around here and open the door to the cabin so folks can say hi. Notice the sound changes. I actually really appreciate that about it. And then there was one other thing I want to do. Start service cruise on the ground. Looks like we can't do that while we're offloading here. And that is it. That is all. We're not going to go all the way to shutdown, folks. I usually don't anymore, but if you look at our checklist here, so we got to go all the way here. After landing checklist, auto brake was turned off, speed brake lever is down, probe heat is off, exterior lights as needed, engine start switches are off now, weather radar is off, flap lever is up, transponder is as needed, and then our shutdown checklist, parking brake is set, electrical power is set, engine start levers are cut off. Fasten seatbelt sign, I didn't turn that off yet. Let me do that really quick. Off, and that one can just stay like that. We'll go like that. We should hear the passengers offloading. Although I did turn that volume down a little bit. Anti-collision lights off, fuel pump switches, I didn't turn those off either. Yes, thank you for the blinking arrows. I don't mind them, but I think it's kind of funny too. That one's fine, that one's fine, that's good. Okay, I'm done there. I'm not going to do the rest of this stuff because we're going to be here all day, and that means that's going to wrap it up for this one, ladies and gentlemen. I took the ASU card away because it was super loud. Yeah, a little rough on the landing, got to be fair. That was my first time actually really doing a full flight in this aircraft, and the behavior was not what I expected. I've gotten used to like the PMDG where you pull on that yoke, man, that sucker it just wants to climb immediately. This aircraft was like, no, we're on our way down, not going up. So yeah, a little harder than I expected, but you know, with some practice I'll get better at that, as we always do. So I enjoyed the flight. I thought it was pretty great. I'm pretty impressed with the scenery. What is he doing? It's like he tried to avoid the ground power cart, but he's like, nah, just go through the landing gear of the airplane. Okay, gotta love AI in these things, right? Scenery really good. I've been pretty impressed with it. If we just look around overall here, I mean, the scenery, I know the view will change kind of cockeyed there, but it's pretty good. The trees and stuff are all three-dimensional. I think there's room for improvement, but again, this is early access. But this is a default airport. I mean, I didn't do anything to this. I don't even think anybody's made anything for this thing yet. So really good stuff. I really like this flight simulator, and I hope that you guys enjoyed this flight. We're definitely going to be spending more time in X-Plane 12, and I look forward to spending more time in this ZIBO 737. I'm really impressed with what they've done with this thing. Great job to you guys. If any of you happen to just watch my videos, not that I'm expecting you do, but if you do, kudos to you. You did an amazing job with this airplane. It really is fantastic. As always, guys, give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. That lets me know you're liking the content. We are going to do more flights in X-Plane one way or another, but I really hope that you guys enjoyed this. I certainly did as well. This is a great flight sim, and I'm really excited that it's here. Smash on that subscribe button if you think that I've earned it, and that's it. That's all and no more, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, as always, keep the blue side up unless otherwise instructed by ATC. God bless you all and have an absolutely fantastic day.